Hey yo, my straight edge, but I don't wear no tats. I'm from San Diego, but don't wear a loser on that. Got a ball head spitting like this, and when the rhythm hits them, cause I'm sick with it. Like a stage 4 cancer victim, I represent the old school like Namco, Sega, Coleco, 8-bit Nintendo. Been gaming since the cradle, mom passed my controller. I won't stop gaming till God says game over. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Max with the Triple X, and welcome to the very first episode of the Straight Edge Gamer Podcast. That's the podcast where I'm going to bring it to you alcohol-free, drug-free, and of course, bullshit-free. Now, I know what you guys are thinking right now, but before I get into what you guys are thinking, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm just so happy that you guys got my invite, that you guys are going to give me a chance. So, now it's time to answer that question, which is on everybody's mind. Why would I listen to this podcast? Why would I continue? What's going to stop me from hitting that stop button right now? Or going and switching over to like All Gen Gamers podcast or like a couple of those podcasts that I might have missed. You know, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of gaming podcasts out there, and I get it. So I was kind of reluctant in getting involved with this kind of thing. But out of all those gaming podcasts, if there is one that actually approaches the game makers and does interviews with these game makers, I have yet to find one. And if there is one, there probably isn't a very good one, you know? So that's what this podcast is going to touch up on. You know, I was very fortunate to go to like E3 or Comic-Con or GamerCon, and I was very fortunate to go and talk to a lot of these game developers. Some of them were actually very sincere. Take, for instance, I went over to Comic-Con this year and I spoke with the creative team that are, I believe they're with Red Fly Studios, and they're currently working on the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video game, and it's going to be coming out on all the platforms, Steam, Xbox, you name it. And the sincerity on this guy, when he was talking about how each Ninja Turtle had like their own skill set and their own set of moves. They weren't all like, they didn't all move the same. One had kung fu, and the other one had like MMA ground and pound style. You know, he was so sincere about how much this game meant to him, and I wished I had recorded that for you guys to listen, you know. But that Xbox lounge at Comic-Con was loud. I mean, it was loud as a bomb. Imagine hearing Halo guns going off right next to like more guns going off of playing Blacklist and multiple trailers going on at the same time. I don't care how good your microphone is, people. Even with the lavalier, you're going to pick up way too much shit in the background, and you're going to be having a hell of a time trying to EQ that for the audience. So I knew better than that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to find a way to get this guy on some type of show. And I figured, why not do it through a podcast? So as of this broadcast, I am currently reaching out to independent and industry game developers, game designers, directors, producers, all those guys who are being involved with making the game that you guys play, because it's time to hear it from their perspective. I'm tired of people always asking that question, what were they thinking? It's time to find out what they were thinking. To me, that's important. And it actually will help all those reviewers out there to finally understand, you know, what's going on in the mind of a developer when they're creating that game. So by the time a reviewer gets the game, they listen to a podcast like this and they can use that as a reference. That's the goal, is to really help you guys, the reviewer out there who are trying to make a name for themselves and are getting tired of saying fuck this game all the time, because you can only say fuck so much about a game if there's no reason behind your word fuck. Nobody's going to give a fuck about what your opinion is. So it's time to grow the fuck up and be real journalists for once. See, what a lot of people don't understand is It was confirmed by Adam Sessler. Actually, I was listening to I was watching one of his show. I believe it was a Sessler Says, and he was talking about how executives look at Metacritic scores more than they look at sales figures. That is so ass backwards because Metacritic is such a horror. To me, Metacritic sucks. I hate using Metacritic. I don't even use them for anything. To me, I'll pay attention to other reviewers out there. I'll pay attention to guys like Angry Joe because those are guys I tend to agree with. So anyway, let's go ahead and start off with the first segment. This is a multi-segmented type of podcast. However, it's not going to be that kind of a podcast where there's so many segments that it doesn't that almost drives away from the focus. I've seen way too many podcasts that do that. This is not going to be that kind of podcast, people. This is going to be one of those podcasts where the focus is on my guest because they are the most important part of this show. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the first segment here. And this segment is pretty much current games that I am playing. And I'm obviously playing The Last of Us. I think everybody's playing that right now. Well, I guess, anybody who's got a PS3 is fortunate to have a PS3. And I'm not sure if you guys had this problem or not, but the opening sequence, if you have like the fat PS3, I have one that had like the 40 gigs on it. I, of course, upgraded to like a 160 gig hard drive. However, the opening scene tends to freeze up sometimes on the load screen. And I've went to forums, I've went through Naughty Dog and whatnot, and they say this is a common thing. If you have a newer PS3, the slim ones, then this problem doesn't happen to you guys. This year, I actually took this game with me. I took the cover because I was hoping I can meet up with Ellen Page, because if I did, I was going to have her sign this, or, she was going to write on this, this is not me, Ellen Page, and then circle the Ellie character on there, because of course, you guys know that a lot of people are like, well, this is Ellen Page. They modeled this after Ellen Page, and Ellen was supposedly pissed off or whatnot, and she was only upset because she has a new game coming out called Beyond Two Souls. And I'll tell you what, that is a whole different animal, and that game looks really good. I mean, that game almost made me cry at some scenes, That's because, there's scenes where she's been homeless. And, I've been that way. I've been down that road, and it's not a very pleasant road to go to. And so that hit home. Man. So the next game or series of games that I've actually been playing a lot more than Last of Us actually were the Crysis games. Steam had this huge summer sale. I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to, all you PC gamers out there, but if you missed out, man, you missed out on some awesome deals. One of those deals was the Crysis series. Crysis Warhead. Of course, that also comes with Crysis Wars and Crysis 2 Maximum Edition. I've already had the first Crysis. It's your average run and gun sci-fi thing. It's nothing too spectacular, nothing about it. And try not to get all philosophical or anything. It's just in your face, shoot them up, have some fun. But my favorite of the series so far has been Crysis Warhead. We get to play as the character Psycho, and Psycho is awesome. That character reminds me of Jason Statham. In fact, I would love to see a Crysis movie, and I would love to see Jason Statham as Psycho. I think that would rock. I mean, he's got the voice, the attitude, it's all there. I'm surprised they didn't get him. I'm surprised they didn't get him for the game. I know they didn't, but man, it sure sounded like him. And the little things, the little quirks that the character has, or the things that he says, and also there's scenes where you can really see his humanity shine through. I mean, there was a lot of character development behind this character. And man, I was actually blown away by that. Then Crysis 2, and I love the game. Don't get me wrong, probably one of the best looking games I have ever played. Oh my god, that game is. I think they're making game systems right now. All the next gen stuff. They're like, oh man, we need to be able to match. We need to match the look of Crysis. And the only way we're going to do that is to up our hardware. See, hardware is trying to keep up with Crytek. That's when you know you have a kick-ass company that makes kick-ass games. Yeah. So yeah, Crysis 2. Awesome game, but not really feeling the story. And I really hated the fact, okay, spoiler alert. I really hated the fact that what's his name ends up dying or whatnot. I guess he was dead anyway. I'm talking about the character you play. God, what the fuck was his name again? Someone's out there raising their hand. I know. But Alcatraz. That's right. His name is Alcatraz, and it sucks that he died. You know, I really would. I think in Crysis 3, it would have been cool to see that residual Alcatraz memory come back, and all of a sudden have the main character. Fuck, man. Well, I'm really losing it today, man. The main character, fuck. I don't remember his fucking name. We'll just call him the main character. The main character of Crysis 3, I really wish he would have had like multiple personalities with Alcatraz. I think that would have been awesome. And I think that would have made for better character development. And just seeing that, you know, just having the two characters kind of bicker at each other and almost would have made the character almost Deadpool-ish, you know. And yes, I love me some Deadpool. I hope there's a movie that comes out soon. If you guys play the game, if you guys did play the game, you guys will understand how cool Deadpool is. And don't let those reviewers tell you different. Deadpool is the funniest game of the year. And that's saying a lot because Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon almost takes that game out when it comes to being funny. So yeah, those are the games I've been playing so far. And yeah, so you know, usually I would have a guest. I would have hopefully I will have a guest very soon. And until then, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a brief history about, you know, who I am and where I started, you know, how I started with Terrible Films and all of a sudden made this transformation into the straight edge gamer. Because for those who know me, I wasn't this way. I wasn't a very sober person at all. But I got to pay some bills. So I'm going to hit you up after the break. And after the break, there's going to be my review segment, and the review segment's usually about a minute long, and it only touches on the main points, whether good or bad, about a video game. So we'll be back after this. So, you got game? Well, the folks at GotGame.com got Mad Game. This site is packed with up-to-date gaming news and second-to-none web shows like Irate Gamer Neo and the Straight Edge Gamer Show, just to name a few. Register today at GotGame.com for free and connect with gamers just like you. So, if you want game, get game at GotGame.com. That's GOTGAME.com. GotGame.com. Star Trek lets you take control of either Captain Kirk or Spock through various missions that include cover-based shootouts, platforming with quick-time events, puzzles, and even on-rail shooting using the Starship Enterprise. The game is based on the new Star Trek films helmed by J.J. Abrams, so expect a lot of oversaturated colors, lens flares, and even real hokey dialogue.
I realize this may be difficult for you to understand, Captain, but on Vulcan, relationships between the sexes do not automatically imply an intimate past. Another reason I'm glad I'm not a Vulcan.
The audio truly takes center stage in Star Trek. All the voice actors from the Abrams films reprises their respective roles, the sound effects are top-notch, and even the guy that does the music on the films does the music for the game. Star Trek was developed for casual gamers. The gameplay does provide some variety, but it doesn't really provide much of a challenge for hardcore gamers, and not to mention this game can be completed in one sitting. Star Trek is now under $40 these days, so if you're a Trekkie or a casual gamer, I'd say pick it up, but for hardcore gamers looking for a challenge, you'll be disappointed. Star Trek gets a 3 out of 5. Now back to the show. All right, man, welcome back to the show. And I know what you guys are thinking right now. Star Trek? Really? There's a bunch of games out there. Why review that one? That one's a pretty old game. Well, I had that in my backlog for a while, and I just couldn't figure a good way to say anything about that game, you know? But I had to say something. I just felt I had to. Namco Bandai sent the game to me, and I just wanted to say something that would bring it justice, but at the same time, you know, be kind of positive. I'm trying not to be so negative. There's way too many negative reviewers out there. I want to try to, you know, point out the positives in a game. I think that's important. So, before the break, I was going to start telling you a little bit about me, about who I am. And, well, let's start off with the very first YouTube channel that I had. That was Terrible Films. Terrible Films, God, I got the name Terrible from an episode of Dr. G Medical Examiner. On one episode, there was a guy who was named Terrible. This man, Terrible, suffered a terrible death. He burned alive inside his car. And Dr. G Medical Examiner wanted to determine whether the guy was just drunk or on pills or whatnot. And she reached out to the Terrible family, and the Terrible family said that, it was a terrible tragedy, and it just kept sounding like this pun, this constant pun, and I couldn't help but laugh at it. And so with that, my friend Craig was watching it with me, and he actually said, "Terrible Films," and I just started laughing my ass off, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call my production company Terrible Films. I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. I'm gonna call it Terrible Films, and damn it, I did. And that's how you had Forrest Whitaker breathing out fire, because it was kind of an ode to this poor guy named Terrible who died from, it was actually smoke inhalation that eventually killed him. So he died from smoke inhalation from all the soot before the fire could touch him. So I guess he didn't burn alive and he didn't suffer too long. He just suffocated. Oh well, God rest his soul. My friend and I started producing this show called The Flunky and Max Sterling Show. We're both rappers. We love to make hip hop music. I still do. I just don't do it as much. But when I do, I really it has to be something that I really enjoy. Anyway, I wanted to document us creating a new album from start to finish. And it was fueled by alcohol. I mean, that whole album, which is called We Need Beer Money, was fueled by alcohol. We got drunk every night that we recorded something, and all the writing, everything, the whole creative process was under the influence of alcohol. And some of the songs came out really good, and some of the songs I kind of regret doing, because a lot of the things I said I really didn't want to say. It was just alcohol, just me getting drunk and stupid, So after a while, my friend and I, Art, Artie, we moved in together. We didn't really see things eye to eye on a few things, and friends, when people live together, things don't always turn out good, And we ended up moving out on different. We ended up moving to different places. We ended up moving away from each other and whatnot. And during that time, I had started a new channel, and that channel is the one I have currently. It's Controller Throwers. This was a show where I was going to attempt to beat all the hard games of yesteryear. I started off with Section Z, and I've been working on quite a few of them. I almost finished The Adventures of Bio Billy. I'm currently working on Shinobi, because I still want to do a Controller Throwers show. It's just really hard to refamiliarize myself with these games and to figure out all the strategies that it's going to take to beat them. Because there's a lot. These old games actually have a lot more depth than a lot of these new cats think. Take for instance, people still play Donkey Kong, and they would tell you all these methods that you never thought would be possible in this old ass arcade game. But there are plenty of methods. There are many ways. To get that kill screen. For all those that don't know, kill screen is when you when you play the game, when you play a certain level, and all of a sudden that game just goes to shit. It gets stupid, or it freezes up, or just a major glitch, pretty much. It's a glitch that that just happens, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of old stuff. I'm still trying to find like new ways to knock out Glass Joe in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and there are ways to do it. You know, there is more than one pattern to beating people in Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Never knew it till recently. And then I started going back and playing Bald Bull again, or playing Soda Pop Vinsky, not knowing that you can actually hit these guys in the stomach. I didn't know you can do body blows to some of these guys. And then I found out you could, you know? And, man, it's hilarious. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy going back to those old games and playing them again. So, anyway, that's what Control the Thors was going to be about. It still is, but it is a struggling show because of all the ways I can beat a game, and just I haven't found that way yet. During that time with Control the Thors, I met up with a guy named Nick Huggett. You guys know him as Swag. He helped me get into this website called gotgame.com, and from there I was off to the races. I was making reviews for them. I was starting to get video games from publishers and doing reviews for them as well. And man, you know, without that, I would never have went to like the E3 and whatnot. So, you know, I definitely owe a really big thanks. I owe a really big thanks to Steve Masters for giving me a shot. You know, he could have said, "Man, this guy ain't shit. Let's get him out of here." You know, I didn't have anything to show for it. I only had like 200 subscribers by the time Got Game recruited me. Now I'm 516 subscribers strong, and I appreciate every single subscription that I get. And hopefully I reach that 1,000 mark, you know? I don't aim really high. I figure if I have a small enough fan base, then that's fine. I can live with that, you know? Because that's 500 people who are actually dedicated listeners instead of 500 people who just did sub for sub, you know? That's not real popularity. That's just a number. Then that, you know, that number is meaningless. I'd rather have that number mean something. Through my time with Got Game, I noticed I just haven't been feeling very good when it comes to drinking and just smoking out and all that stuff. And I felt like, you know, it was starting to hurt me physically. So I figured, you know, I'm just going to put this stuff down. And just like that, I went cold turkey. And while I was on the wagon, if you will, I still am, I guess, you know, while I was starting my wagon, that's better. I started watching wrestling, a lot more WWE stuff, and I noticed I paid attention to this one character's name is CM Punk, and then his character pretty much put me onto the thing of straight edge, and I was like, what is straight edge? And I started researching it, and I started talking to my father about it. Now, according to Wikipedia, it started like. I believe it started in the 70s or something like that. My father actually confirmed that it started actually mid-60s. And it was kind of a counterculture to hippies. A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people don't know that. Because when straight edge showed up, when the whole straight edge scene actually started, they were associating it with punk rock music. Now, being punk rock does not mean you're straight edge. Or being straight edge means that you only listen to punk rock. That's not true. I do like the straight edge music. I think it is so awesome. It's so cool. And it's not easy to catch on at first because you're listening to all this hardcore music. It's kind of like listening to heavy metal Christian bands. You know, there's a lot of guys are like, rah, 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 and they're all of a sudden they're talking about, we love Jesus. I'm like, huh? You know, it's like Metallica talking about how much they love Jesus. You know, back in their old speed metal days when they're trying to do one, and all of a sudden, like, the lyrics are talking about how Jesus died on the cross. It's kind of a weird split culture. And it's the same way with straight edge and punk rock, because a lot of people would listen to punk rock and they think something else. But the lyrics the lyrics fit. And it's really cool. It really is. It's really cool music to listen to. And being straight edge means a lot. Going that way for me really helped. And I define straight edge like this. It's self-enlightenment through self-discipline. That means you need to forego certain things that have been in your life or maybe may come into your life in order to feel fulfilled with yourself, to feel right. Everything feel right in the world. So I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking, stopped doing weed, and I even quit caffeine. Just because I don't need it. I really don't need it. I never liked uppers to begin with. So getting rid of caffeine, no brainer. Of course, it's kind of hard going to like a restaurant or going out certain places and having to ask. It's kind of a pain in the ass having to ask somebody, hey, does that have caffeine in it? Because I don't drink caffeine. That could be annoying. I understand that. But I don't like caffeine and I'd rather not drink it. So there you go. One other thing I've been trying to quit, and it's been very hard for me, has been Call of Duty. And I'm not making that, I'm not trying to actually get rid of it completely. I've wanted to. But as a video game reviewer or as a journalist, you can't ban yourself from a specific game or a specific genre. Whatever they give you, you need to be just as objective as you are with the game that you like. Take, for instance, I played a game called Frozen Hearth. I don't play strategy games. I don't understand them. I'm not into them. Real-time strategies or whatnot, I just can't play those games. I'm just not very good. I don't take the time. That's the real reason. I don't take the time to learn. But for Frozen Hearth, I did. I checked out all the tutorials, and I thought, you know what? This game's not a bad game after all. Once I figured out how to play it, I thought, you know what? It's pretty cool. It's not a game I would play, but the controls work well, and it was a good game for those who are learning real-time strategy. So this is the segment where I would have a kind of a mailbag and kind of talk to you guys, a little bit more one-on-one. If you do have any questions or concerns or comments, this would be the section where I would address those for you guys. And you can always get in touch with me by going to, you can go to straightedgegamer.com. You can find all my links there. But, in case you're lazy, just kidding there. I just started a new Twitter account. It's SEG Podcast. That's right. So SEG Podcast. That's my Twitter handle, and it'll be specifically for the Straight Edge Gamer podcast. I also started a new email for you guys called straightedgegamershow@gmail.com. You can go there. You can post anything you want, your questions, your comments, anything. If, I'll pick them for another episode, and it'll show up in the mailbag. Why not? It'll be fun. So this is where I wrap things up. God, that was really quick. Like I said, if I have a mailbag, it will go a little bit longer. And all I can say is I really hope you guys really enjoyed this podcast. And be on the lookout for some new things, some new really cool things coming real soon on this podcast. Like I said, hopefully next week I will get the guy from Redfly Studio. If not, I'm definitely going to try to get somebody from Activision over here, somebody from EA, anybody that I can, because it's time for their voices to be heard. That's the purpose of this podcast, and that's why I want you guys to listen. Until next time, stay true, stay you.